Welcome back to the Decode podcast from Apex 2025, and we are joined by a very special guest.
Indeed.
We have Mr. IPC. We have John Mitchell, who's the president and CEO of the IPC. And before we get started, on behalf of the cast, we just want to thank you for the hospitality and support that
Absolutely.
the IPC has shown us.
Of course, and I'd like to thank each and every one. Thank you for having me on. So for my first question, what is the Decode? You guys didn't know I was going to put you on the spot, did you?
No. So the Decode is our podcast that we do collectively.
Why Decode? Why the name?
Why the name?
Yeah.
The decodes are what is used to describe the shapes or define each shape on a Gerber file. So I use Gerbers in the assembly world. He uses Gerbers in the fabrication world. He uses Gerbers in stencil manufacturing.
And
so
for
decodes
people
are
at home who
synonymous.
aren't actually in the industry. Gerber files are how we transfer prints to various boards, so we know actually how to build these things.
Right.
Exactly.
So that's the reference. Okay, I didn't know if it was something else more hip.
Well, it has a layered meaning to it as well, because
There you
we
go.
like
I'm
to
just
say that
I'm wondering.
we're decoding electronics
There you go.
manufacturing. So
Excellent.
there's some fun with
For
it.
the lay people.
Yeah.
So, John, how many months? I mean, are you guys preparing for this event? Like when it shuts down, are you preparing for 2026?
So
for that moment?
they're already selling booths for 2036 at this event.
Okay.
And it's an interesting show because in many shows, the more money you spend, the better positioning you get. But the primary exhibitors of this show actually came to us 25 years ago, actually 26 before we did the event, and said, we're having to keep up with the Joneses. We're spending more and more money just trying to outdo each other. Can you just have an event for the industry that doesn't have that aspect to it? So what they do is they literally draw, even the people spending tons of money and just spending a little money, and you draw to see where you get booth selection.
Wow.
And so it's totally random. And so you might draw a 4 or you might draw 434. And okay, wow. All right, it's very directional. But it's going to block the video. No, it's all good. Yeah. Anyway. So that's unique about this show from other shows that I've seen, which just puts everybody on equal footing.
Yeah.
But as far as how long do we prepare, the main show team is always doing something for Apex. They do other shows as well, and then it hits into high gear probably September.
Okay.
I had in my mind some ideas of things that we could talk about when you came on, and that all got thrown into a loop because of the conversation I had right before you came on.
Okay.
I was talking with Stefan Schmidt, and I think that there's many things about IPC that are well known. Everybody knows IPC for Apex. Everybody knows IPC for the standards.
Sure.
But I was unaware of
Certification, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was unaware of and pleasantly surprised to hear about an apprenticeship program.
An apprenticeship program. The
They have
only
multiple.
nationally recognized electronics apprenticeship program in this country.
Yeah, and I think this is an important platform for that to be made well known. We've been called young in the industry, so maybe some of the folks that are consuming this content would be interested in exploring a career in our space. And I think that the work that's being done in terms of apprenticeship is
Corey
worth
Blaylock
highlighting.
and Victoria Hawkins, they're doing amazing work.
Yes.
They really help foster a sense, because I was interested and I was talking to them about it. They made me feel so comfortable about the whole thing. So I really feel excited that we have the chance to talk to you and endorse a program like that.
Yeah, wonderful.
Because
So there's really two different kinds of apprenticeships. There's what we call pre-apprenticeships and apprenticeships. Normal apprenticeships actually happen at businesses. People are already employed, and you can use those state funds, and they vary by state. I hope they describe that to you.
Yep.
I mean, in one state, like I think Texas offers up to $500,000 that you can use toward your company, to that local plant's apprenticeship programs and training. And it's not just, using the IPC programs, but it also can go toward covering your cost of your mentors, people you already have sunk costs in. So it's a great boon there. In Illinois, it's different. It could be like per employee that goes through it. So each program in each state is a little bit different. And then pre-apprenticeship is kind of what we do with universities. So it's getting people ready to go to the industry. So when you go to hire them, they actually have some skills that are useful.
Yeah.
And too often when I'm talking with people in the industry, they're like, yeah, we hire these guys from engineering school and we have to just start from scratch to teach them because they really,
You
yeah,
do
they
hear
can
that a
do
lot.
math, but that doesn't really help me in doing their job.
Yeah.
So directly.
Well, for me, this is kind of surreal because my grandfather started with Bill McKinley back at Methode.
Okay.
And Bill encouraged my grandfather to start up his own circuit board shop back in Detroit. And, that like encouragement and mentorship that you're talking about right now is like the same thing that was happening back then in the 60s and 70s, like is still happening to this day, right?
Yeah.
It's beautiful to see.
It's one of the greatest things about these gathering events. It's one of the greatest roles of IPC. As the Global Electronics Association, we're a convener.
Yeah.
We bring people together so that you can talk with various aspects of the supply chain, even with competitors, so you can sit there and go, oh, hey, I should hire that guy.
Well, technically, we are competitors.
Right.
We both run the same pick and place equipment too, but I don't ever bid against jobs that he's
Right.
bidding on.
Well, I've seen, it's one of the best things that I've learned about being in this industry, even just at Apex or just at IPC. You'd have competitors, and I've seen them be competitors where I've seen it where an individual on the West Coast had a customer in the Midwest, and they couldn't get there to help out. So they called a competitor that they had met here and said, could you help out my customer?
Wow.
And they did because they were local to them. And it's just part of this wonderful community that we have as an electronics industry.
Yeah, and in circuit board fab, it was so few of us left towards the end of that, everyone just shared your tribal knowledge. And I'm trying to bring that kind of to the printed circuit board assembly arena too of we're not bidding against each other. You don't ever lose a job to me and I don't ever lose a job to you. Let's help each other.
And that's kind of the entire background behind IPC standards or IPC certification. IPC doesn't create standards. IPC doesn't create training. The industry
people do.
creates it.
Yeah.
We bring the best people from every company. They get together. We manage the process and collaborate with them, and package it up and push it back out.
Right.
But in the end, all that know-how comes from the industry, and that's what makes it valuable.
So
Because
Absolutely.
it's not just one smart guy at a university or something. I think you ought to do it this way. They may have a great idea, but let's make sure the industry all buys into it.
Yeah, I have an old 2013 610A book, right? And then we got the new 2023. And the list of people
Yeah, hundreds.
It's like 2 pages. I wanted 2 or 3
from
pages
all over the world.
and it's not a big text either, right?
Yeah.
It's
So I've served on one of the standards committees,
Good.
and it's a fun process, honestly. If you're involved in the industry, it's fun to do because you're getting to see the background, how the secret sauce, how these standards get made. And it's actually really cool because the calls that I would be on would have maybe like 10 people on them or something. And everyone's got a different role, a different background. Their company serves a slightly different portion of the industry, but we're all going off of the same book and the same standard. But you read a question and it's like, all right, how's that verb? Like, does everyone interpret this statement how it's meant to be, or do we need to tighten this up? Is there room to improve this question? Is there any ambiguity? Is there any vagueness?
And sometimes
is it accurate? Is
Yeah.
it,
And if people have questions, I'm visiting a plant, they're like, hey, I've, this table and this standard on this page, blah, blah, blah. I don't feel like there's a lot of, when I talk to my customer, they interpret it one way. When we look at it, we look at it another way. And I'm like, so get on the committee. Or talk to the chair of the committee and make this known if you
Yes.
don't have time for that. So you can always input and impact the standards. They're not dead documents. They're living documents
That's
that
right.
continue to evolve.
Yeah, it's that you can tell by the different revisions, right?
Yeah.
That what they're on, it's cool. In fact, I just recently had all of my employees, because we found out online, one of the people from the IPC in the Michigan chapter came by and visited us and taught us about, hey, there's a free ESD, right, for the IPC membership, a class you can take. So we had everybody take it.
Yeah.
And they get all excited because they get the paper at the end, right? They go, oh, I took it, right? And then
As a member benefit, I think we launched this 2 years ago. We started including credentialed, serialized training just as a member benefit. Like
Right.
you mentioned, there's ESD.
Yep.
We have, what else do we have? There's a safety course. There's a FOD course, a foreign object and debris course. Just that because, this is just part of business that everybody has to do.
Yeah.
And instead of spending anywhere from $15 to $40 a year to train each of your employees, let's just give that to you.
Yeah, it's super nice, and especially because I had a process engineer come into my facility. It's been doing PCBA forever, and he said before they know why they're putting on the smock and why they're putting on the strap and why they're putting on the heel strap, educate them on the reasons behind it, right?
Yeah.
And that's what that entire video
As opposed
did.
to they're making me dress goofy when I
Right,
go to
yeah,
work.
right. Exactly. Yeah. So it was cool to see, there's a reasoning behind it too. And that way they don't feel kind of forced into it. Hey, there's a reasoning for it. And in fact, like in one of my YouTube videos, I blew up a capacitor by putting the reverse polarity on it, right? And so I got to show that to him. I said, this is what happens when you put a cap on backwards, right? But it was direct wired, so it's a little bit different than on the board. But it kind of stresses that fact of, hey, it's important to do things because
the right way.
Yeah.
I mean, you say that, and I'm reminded of whenever a resistor's you've overdrawn and then it just and I forget who it was that I first heard this from. Is like, oh, there goes the magic smoke that makes the resistor work. Once it's been released, that resistor won't work anymore.
Yeah,
That's a good way to put it.
Good way to put it.
Well, we really want to make sure that we're respectful of your time. We know you're very busy.
You're tired of me already.
No,
I get it.
we're not.
Okay.
No, we absolutely appreciate you carving out some of your day.
Of course. This is good times.
And yeah, again, just want to echo the appreciation for IPC and how they've been with us. And I know we're all grateful for the work that the IPC does as a pillar of our industry and the advocacy they do as well. It doesn't go unnoticed, and we hope this is our first of many appearances here.
Yes, I hope we make this a
Wonderful.
staple.
And I hope this is the first of many chances I get to be on your show.
Awesome.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
We'll take
Thank
you
you,
up on
guys.
that.